Okay guys, so today I'm going to talk to you about, as you would have seen in the title, my experience with my boob job or breast augmentation, whatever you want to call it, at the Cosmetic Institute. That's where I went. It's sort of a controversial place to go, I suppose. So anyways, I just sort of talk about my experience getting my boobs done, and just all about them, what I got, where I got the insertion, just my whole experience with it for anyone who is thinking of going to get theirs done, just because you'd be surprised, like once you get yours done, don't be surprised if you get messages asking about them, because it's actually pretty common. I mean, like from girls who are also interested, because I know I messaged heaps of girls. I was talking to so many girls who had had theirs done, because that's who you want to talk to before you go. You want to talk to someone who's gone through the experience. So I, just like every single other girl who's had theirs done, have had plenty of messages from friends, from acquaintances, or things like that, family, whatever, just people who are interested in getting theirs done. And so I just thought that I would do a Q&A on it, because when I went to get mine done, which was a little while ago now, there still wasn't like a lot. Like I think there's a lot of stuff out there now, but I think it's just still really good to have more experiences out there for people to listen to, so they can hear the good, the bad, the ugly, the normal, like just all the different things that can happen and things that they can expect, because everyone's experience is different. So anyways, I just had my kettle just go off, so I'm gonna make iced coffee and come back and get started. Alrighty, so got my iced coffee. So I'm just gonna get right into it. I don't really have any secrets to hide, so if you have any questions, please write them below, but I'm going to try and cover most things as best I can. So I went to the Cosmetic Institute Parramatta, which is the Sydney one. I'm not even sure if it's still open, because there's been so much conflict about it. I'll just check if they've still got their Instagram page. But I went there 2 years ago. It was April 2015 when I got mine done. Looks like they're still open, still have an Instagram page. Yeah, they're still open. So yeah, I went to the Sydney Cosmetic Institute, which is the Parramatta one, and I went there in April 2015. I decided I was going to get my boobs done in probably like 2014, so I probably knew for about a year that I was definitely going to get them done, and I think I booked it at the end of 2015, and then I got end of 2014, and then I got them done in 2015. So like I was sort of looking around and deciding for about 6 months, and then I booked in 6 months ahead of when I got it done. As for my consult, I actually had that done the day before. I think you can have the option, I'm not sure if it's different now, so this is just how it was 2 years ago, what I did, but I think you had the option, like if you lived there or if you wanted to fly there beforehand, you could have a consult or whatever first, before you decided anything, or if you wanted to have it like way before your operation. But I decided that I didn't want to fly there beforehand, that I didn't want to do 2 flights, and I would just have my consult the day before, and that's when we would just decide just what implants going in and stuff like that. And so yeah, I decided to do that. The reason I went with the Cosmetic Institute is because I knew a couple of girls who had been to the Cosmetic Institute and they had had really good experiences, and also I like was looking through all sorts, like price wasn't sort of what was making my decision. I was choosing based on where I actually wanted to go, and I looked at so many different doctors in Melbourne, Brisbane and Sydney. I looked at so many different doctors, so many different work, but there was one doctor at the Cosmetic Institute that really stood out for me. When I went through like their Instagram, I don't know if they still have it now, but back then they used to just have lots of reposts of all the girls who had been there, and they would post photos like in sports bras or in bras or bikinis or whatever, and then they would be posted onto the Cosmetic Institute Instagram, and basically when I looked through and I looked at what ones I thought really looked good and were what I was looking to get, and all the ones that I seemed to pick out, like 90% of them were done by the same doctor, and so that's why I decided to go with him. I was with Dr. Tang at the Cosmetic Institute Parramatta, I also know there's plenty of other good ones because I have other friends who work with other people that look great. But if you haven't heard of the Cosmetic Institute, I'm surprised. But there's also a lot of media on bad experiences, and I just want to say from the start right here, I did not have a bad experience. I had a good experience. I'm glad I went with them because all went well. But I'm not saying go there. I'm not saying they're the best. Obviously, I haven't been anywhere else, so I can't compare to anywhere else. And also, you have risk no matter where you go. There's nowhere you can go that you can be 100% guaranteed that nothing's going to go wrong. There's risk no matter where you go. And that's something you have to accept when you're going into a boob job, that you could end up with complications. Something could go wrong in the surgery, or your boobs don't turn out how you initially wanted them. There's always going to be that risk. Obviously, you can be smart and really research and look into where you're going to go and what doctor you're going to go with and all that to minimize it, but you cannot remove the risk. So I remember when I looked at getting mine done, my sister said, I want you to have a look at all like the botched boob jobs and things like that, and accept that that could be an outcome for you. Obviously it's unlikely, but it is a possibility, and I think you got to accept that going into it. So anyways, I did that, but I wanted them so badly that for me it was worth the risk, and I decided to go ahead. Obviously, the reason I got mine done, I didn't hate mine or anything like that. I was very, very small. I think I was like a 10A or 12AA, so my boobs were like super small, and I didn't think there's anything wrong with small boobs. They look great and everything, but and like on other people I like them, but just on me I felt very uneven. I have quite broad hips and I'm a very curvy person, and I just felt like everything about me was curvy except the boobs. I was just like missing something there. So I just always wanted like fuller boobs, bigger boobs, and so I decided I was gonna get them. So basically I flew down to Sydney to get them done in April 2015, and I had my consult. My implants are 450cc. When I initially got told that, I was freaking out a little bit. That was what my doctor recommended to me. I said that I wanted to be like around a 12 double D. Obviously they can't like know your exact size you're gonna be, but he told me that he felt 450cc was the best size for my body. That would put me in the most in proportion sort of thing. And I went with what he said because I trusted what he said, because he knows implants better than me and how they're going to turn out and all that a lot better than me. I'm glad I trusted him, but I was freaking out a little bit because pretty much all my friends have like in the 200s cc's, a lot of them, and when I didn't have boobs, I thought their boobs were massive. Massive. Like your perception changes a lot when you get them done on what's big for boobs. So I was a little bit nervous. I thought that they were going to be like really big on me. I thought I was going to end up with like an E or an F cup, and I just didn't want it to be over the top. I didn't want them to look like I was walking around saying like, hey guys, I have massive fake boobs kind of thing, if that makes sense. Nothing against people who have that. That's just personally what I didn't want. I just wanted them to be a good shape and size for my body, and not over the top, but not like too small either. But anyways, everyone always said to me that if anything, you'll wish you went bigger. No one ever says they wish they went smaller. And so I went with what the doctor said, and they're basically the exact size that I wanted them to be. So I'm really, really glad that I trusted him. And they're about a 12 double D now. So, you know, depending on the bra, because all bras I find vary, but mostly a 12 double D. I hardly ever wear normal bras. I'm mostly wearing sports bras or like bralettes, which is, I think, the greatest thing about fake boobs is like I can just wear bralettes all the time because I don't care about my boobs having to fill out my clothes, because they just do. I don't need a bra to make them fill out, which I needed to before. And like I don't need anything to give them support or hold them up, like an underwire or a more supportive bra. So I'm able to wear bralettes. So basically, if I'm training and wearing a sports bra, that's what this is. This is just a Lorna Jane sports bra. This is a size medium. And if I am not training, I'm wearing a bralette. So yeah, the only time I wear a bra is if it's necessary because I'm wearing something nice out, like if I've got to wear a strapless bra or something with a nice strapless dress for dinner or anything along those lines. That's the only time I really wear a real bra. I have only a handful of real bras. So that's just me because I find that's best for comfort. A lot of people said to me that I'm just like jumping right into everything. I'm sorry if this doesn't all make sense, but in regards to fitting clothes, I should probably like sort of start saying what I'm answering. But in regards to fitting clothes, I feel like I don't really have any issues. Almost, I would say like 90% of bikinis fit me. I don't usually have the problem that my boobs are too big for the bikini, like ever. When I had small boobs, that's when nothing fit me, because everyone had big boobs was like to me, nothing fits you when you have big boobs. And I was like, nothing fits me now, so if nothing fits me then nothing's changed. So my boobs were just too small for everything, because I was always in, at the smallest, like a 10 in bikinis or whatever, just because I'm very broad. And that's also why I had a large implant, because I'm a broad person. Like my shoulders are very broad and my chest is very broad, so I needed bigger implants to cover the surface area, if that makes sense. That's what my doctor told me, and I am a broad person. I know that I'm broader than majority of girls, I would say. So yeah, I just felt like my boobs were always too small for stuff, and now they fit in everything. I didn't have to change my sports bra size. I was wearing small sports bras when I went in to get my breasts done, and then I still wear small sports bras to this day. When I say small, I've been in pretty much every single sports bra brand. But yeah, Lorna Jane specifically is the one I wear the most, and I fit perfectly in a small. This doesn't have any padding on, so you can see like literally the size of my boobs. Yeah, so 450cc, I don't think they look over the top, and I'm about 12 double D. This is a small sports bra, and I didn't need to change size when I got the new bra, obviously. So the only thing that doesn't fit, I find, is like I find Nike sports bras, like the ones that don't have a lot of support, that just have the band down here and then like the tick there, they are always too small in the boobs for around the waist. Like I have to get a medium for it to fit my boobs, but then it's too loose around the waist, so I've got to like squish my boobs into a small, because otherwise it wouldn't fit around the waist. So that's kind of annoying, but that's like the only one. Other than that, yeah, everything fits pretty well. So my experience actually down there, I had my consult the day before. They gave me like implants, and they like put them into this bra where they sit into the bra, and then you put that bra on with that implant size and try the shot on over the top. They look way, way, way bigger when you do that to when you've actually got them in your body, I promise you. They looked way more massive on me in the little bra-y thing, and I was actually made me more worried they were going to be too big. But obviously they weren't. They turned out well. But yeah, and they also look like really shit. Like they sag down a lot, because obviously they're just an implant sitting in a bra, so they hang down a bit and they don't look very attractive. So just to warn you, they might not look good wherever you decide to go when you put on that bra thing, if they do that there. Some places I know have like technology where they put it on your body, like in a computer system sort of. But anyway, yeah, so had my consult, tried on that, decided on the size. I decided, so 450cc, both boobs are 450cc. I got high profile, and high profile, so your profiles, I used to think it meant like how high they sit on your body, but I'm 99% sure, well, this is what my doctor told me, and that was like, it's actually how far out they sit in front of you. So high profile is like they're the furthest out, medium is like more in, and low profile is just like, I guess, flatter. So yeah, it's like how thick the implant is, I guess. I don't know. That's my understanding of it. I'm not a surgeon. I'm not qualified in that area. This is just my experience. So I could be wrong. So look into it. Like research the shit out of everything. So anyways, yeah, I got high profile, 450cc, and I got mine inserted under the boob, so it's like on the boob line sort of thing, so it sits in the crease. Personally, I kind of wish that mine sat down a tiny bit more, but I think the good thing is that will come, like, I'm planning on having kids one day, so when I have those kids, my boobs are probably going to sit a bit saggier afterwards. So that doesn't worry me because they're super perky. They don't look like crazy fake perky or anything like that, but I just mean they don't sit as down as natural boobs do, as you would guess, because fake boobs don't really. And I like the natural look, but the thing is, when you got small boobs, you have the option of big fake boobs or small real boobs. You don't have the option of big real boobs. You don't have that option. So, but I still think I'm glad that mine are fake. Sometimes I say that I'm glad that I was born with small boobs so that I could get a boob job, because I feel like big fake boobs are a lot easier. A lot of people with big real boobs don't like their boobs. Lots do, but lots don't. And I don't get any back pains. I get to have big boobs without having any back pains. I don't need like crazy supportive bras. I work out in this sort of bra, which is this thin strap, all the time. I mean, I don't really run. If I went running, yes, I need a thicker strap. But as for like gym and everything like that, this is fine for me. So yeah, went under the boob. The scarring is pretty good. Like, yes, you can still see it. It's been 2 years, so it's still probably going to improve. You can still see it a bit, but it's not bad at all, and it seems to just, as time goes on, be getting less and less noticeable, which is awesome. And I didn't want it around the areola just because I know it fades, but the ones I'd seen I just didn't really like. My friend had hers go through her armpit, and the Cosmetic Institute didn't offer that. If they did, I probably would have went with that option. You can't see your scar literally at all, which is pretty cool. But yeah, you can see mine a little bit, but it doesn't really bother me. And as I said, like, it sits in the fold, so yeah, you can't see it. It's not noticeable. And you don't have to worry about, I never worry about it showing or anything if I'm in a bikini, because as I said, it's only just slightly visible. It's not crazy visible. Yeah, so then had my consult, decided on all of those things, and then the next day I went in for my operation. I had to fast from a certain time, just like all operations, and I went under a twilight anesthetic, I think it's called, and that's basically where, what I've been told, as I said, these are just what I've been explained. I'm not 100% on everything, but basically you're not like fully out to it. So like you can still follow basic instructions and stuff, but honestly, to me, it was like I was fully out to it. You don't remember following instructions, you don't remember anything, you're not like actually awake, or if you are, like, you don't remember it when you wake up, so it's like you were just asleep, you don't even know. And so they put the needle in my arm. I had it in like this spot here in front of the elbow, and they actually couldn't get one arm, so before they went to the other arm, they like happened to, because I hate needles, and so I was 18 at the time, 19. I was 18 when I decided, but I was 19 when I actually got it done, because it was April 2014. 15. April 2015. Yeah. So yeah, when they were actually really nice. The nurses, like, I was really struggling. They were really struggling to find that vein, so I was having trouble. And then when they got it, they actually didn't get like a really good, like they didn't get it in real good, so they actually just done a bit just to get me to sleep, and then they changed arms. So I just thought that that was a very nice thing. A lot of nurses wouldn't bother to do that. They go like, no, we can't get it good enough here, and they go to the other one and put you through the struggle. So they were really lovely, and they did that. They put me to sleep, then they put it over to this arm. The nurse like held my hand and everything. I was really scared. It just can be quite frightening going in. Obviously, like, I was a bit nervous before I went in, but then when I was laying there, like, you're lying on an operating table and everyone has like their operating gear on, so, and then like they stick the needle in your arm. But I just knew that the worst part for me was just getting in there and waiting. Once I was asleep, it was good. I was asleep, it was happening. So I was really frightened, but they were really nice and they got me to sleep. And then next thing I knew, I woke up So talking about how I woke up, I woke up in a hospital bed. I woke up with quite a fright. I was already dressed, so I'm just going to take a stab in the dark and say that they give you basic instructions on getting dressed because you're in a twilight anesthetic, so they probably help you, but you're able to stand and stuff on your own supposedly. So yeah, woke up dressed, which was good because I didn't have to go through the struggle of getting dressed. And I woke up with quite a fright. I don't think I cried. I could feel like gel under my eyes from like, I guess they had my eyes shut or whatever for the operation, but I didn't cry. I know some girls do, and I have seen another girl who was at the time, and that's very normal. I personally didn't cry, but I did wake up with a really big fright, and I felt like concerned, and I think it's just I woke up with a fright because my body was like shaking. My whole body was just shaking, like my legs, my arms, just everything. My whole body was like vibrating, like, you know when you're freezing and you like are shivering like that, like it was like that. And so then, because I know I was shivering, I like knew what had happened, and I was like, okay, like I need to calm down. I think my body was just in a bit of fright, and so I tried to take like deep breaths and go like like just to try and calm my body very slowly. And as I tried to take deep breaths, it was very, very painful in my chest, so I couldn't calm myself down with my breaths because it was too painful for my boobs or my implants, because obviously it had all just happened. So yeah, another thing to note was I didn't have any drains, so I don't have an experience on drains. I personally wouldn't go somewhere with drains because it sounds disgusting, but I mean, other people who had drains just said it was gross and they got it done and it was over with, but I personally am glad I did not have drains. So it took me about 2 hours. They just wait till you calm down and you feel good, and you just gotta, I think, eat something. I think I had like a lollipop or something, and then they actually order a cab for you and you stay in the hospital room. I got out of my bed when I started to calm down, sat down in a seat. My mum and dad were there with me and my sister. They all flew down there with me. I have an extremely supportive family in basically everything I do. This is such a long video, I really apologize, but this is just my whole experience, so I'm sorry if it's long, but this is everything. I'm just going into detail. My mum and dad were there, my sister was there, and after I'd sat down, I had something to eat for a bit. I think I was there probably about 2 hours since waking up, and they asked me how I was feeling, and I was ready to go home, and they ordered me a taxi. And once the taxi got here, they let me know, and they took me out and put me into the taxi, and we drove from my taxi to the hotel. We purposely got a hotel like 2 blocks from there. It was just around the corner. We literally walked to the Cosmetic Institute the day that I got my consult and the day that I got my operation, but obviously I couldn't walk home. Taxi home, it only took a minute. I suggest staying nearby because the taxi is not fun. I felt like he drove really, really rough, and it was quite painful for me. I was actually holding the seatbelt so it wouldn't like push on me, because like he was just stopping and starting the lights so heavy, and I was like, hello, like I've had surgery, can you not? But anyways, we didn't have to go far, thank gosh for that. Hope you don't get that taxi driver. So we got back and we went upstairs, and I laid down. I slept on the couch while I was there for about, I think like 4 days or so before we flew back, just to get me a bit more recovered. 4 or 5 days. I wanted to be a bit more recovered before I returned home and had to go on a plane and travel and stuff. And I would say the first 2 days are the hardest. I spent almost the whole time pretty much lying down. I was propped up on like pillows. What we did was I actually slept on the couch, just because then everyone could like help me. The first night I actually got fed. My mum and dad like fed me food because I just couldn't really like lift my arms. I don't know why, but that's very common. That's very normal for getting your boobs done. It's just like not being able to lift your arms probably after. Yeah, I couldn't really lift my arms, so my mum and dad like fed me that night. But then the next day I was able to like feed myself, but like I would feed myself like this. I wasn't really like going like this or this. And also I wasn't allowed to lift my arms. Oh, pardon me. I wasn't allowed to lift my arms past shoulder height for like 12 weeks or something like that. So like you're not allowed to reach up to high things, and you're not allowed to lift heavy things either. So that's just an FYI. If your job involves doing that, you can't do that for 12 weeks. So yeah, I was able to feed myself, and after a couple days I was able to sort of like, you know, go like this and that. But for the first night I got fed, and the first 2 days I was more like this and just using my lower half of my arms. As for pain, straight afterwards I had like, once I had something to eat, I was able to start taking my painkillers straight away. I had no issues there. As for my boobs being actually physically painful, they weren't really. They felt a little bit tight, but nothing crazy, nothing that you couldn't stand. The only weird pain I did have was like a weird pain down one of my arms, and I can't remember. I think from what I remember, I used to explain it as like a Chinese burn. It felt like my arm was having like a Chinese burn. So that was the only real pain I ever had a problem with, and I had that for like a couple of days, and then it went away. After about 3 days, I think, we actually like went to the shops, and I didn't go out for long, but it was just a bit of an outing, and it was chilled, and yeah, it was all good, and then it just got better from there. Anyone who is getting their boobs done, I highly recommend you get a V pillow, you know, the ones that are like a corner, so they're like a V, or a banana pillow, I think they can be called. They're just really comfortable and really good for propping yourself up, and a good way to be able to like, you can sort of adjust yourself and lie some certain ways that you probably couldn't lie just with like a rectangular pillow. And then I had to sleep like in bed. You have to be like sitting up like this sort of thing, so you have to sleep like this. You can't lay flat, and you'll know why if you do, because I remember one night in my sleep I must have like shuffled down and been flat, because it does get frustrating some days. It's harder to get to sleep, and it's not the most comfortable. And one night I shimmied down like in my sleep, and I woke up in the middle of the night and I'd been laying flat, and like my chest just felt extremely tight. So it's not a very nice feeling, and I needed help to get up out of bed for a few weeks as well. So for like maybe the first week, or no, probably 2 weeks, Jake had to like help me, because I couldn't like pull myself up out of bed. It was just way too painful. And that's the same as if you're lying down on the couch, you need help getting up. As for training, it was about 6 weeks. I think I wasn't allowed to train for. After 6 weeks, I started doing some light walking. I wasn't super into weights then. This was before I ever started competing. I didn't get my boobs done for competitions. I didn't know anything about competing when I got my boobs done. I actually learned about competing after I got my boobs done, when I had been walking for a bit and slowly getting into some forms of bits of cardio, and then I wanted to lose a little bit of weight, and I heard about a 12-week challenge, and I'd done weights in the past. Like I had been to gym and I gymmed before. I had experience doing it, but I didn't have the real knowledge that I had now. I didn't know about macros. I didn't know about pretty much anything like progressive overload or anything like that. I just went to the gym and lifted some weights kind of thing. So I signed up for a 12-week challenge, which is where I learnt about, that's actually through that period is when I learnt that competing was a thing, and I looked into it and everything. So yeah, I had a long time off lifting any significant weights. I had 6 weeks and I started a bit of cardio, and then down the track, it might have been like 2 months later, so about 3 months later, I did a boot camp, and then by the end of that 12-week boot camp, I sort of started getting back into weights in the gym, and I actually got really serious about it then. But so I had a really decent amount of time off any real heavy lifting, like probably like 6 months or so. So yeah, but now I don't have any issues with them. I can train chest. I know some girls can't. I physically can. I don't have any issues with my implants with any form of training, which is really good. So I think that pretty much wraps it up. Also, the boobs cost me about $5 grand, not including flights, accommodation, all that sort of thing. But yeah, there were $5 grand, and then obviously had to pay for those flights and accommodations and whatever else you do while you're there. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all the questions that I usually get asked. If it's something you want to do, that's your decision. I didn't have anyone pressure me into it. I was still with the same boyfriend, which is Jake, and he didn't care whether I got them or not. I literally asked him so many times. Not that his opinion should matter, but it did matter to me. I guess he had never ever said like, get your boobs done. That was something 100% on me. And he never even said like, yep, I'm glad you're getting your boobs done or anything like that. Because I would always ask him like, do you care if I get them done? Would you be upset? Would you be happy? How would you feel? And he said like, I literally don't care, which I think is really good, because he literally had no influence on my situation. He never said like, oh no, I don't want you to get them done. He never said like, yeah, like get them done. He just literally let me make the entire decision myself. So that was just something that I decided for myself. Don't let anyone else make your decisions. Just make sure if you do decide to get it done, do your research, know what you're in for, and just have an idea of what you want. Also, my implants are silicone. So I think that's pretty much everything. Hopefully I can cut out some ums and ahs. So if there are any cutty bits, it's just because I was trying to shorten this film because I done so much talking. But if you have any more questions, leave them below. I think I covered most things. So anyways, I will talk to you guys in the next video. I hope this is something that could help a few people out. And yeah, talk to you later.